Grand Parade Investments is a Western Cape-based empowerment group and owns a 25.1% economic interest in the Grand West Casino, the Table Bay Hotel and a number of other Sun International properties. It has a market cap of 1.4 billion rand, a price-to-earnings ratio of 8.6 and a dividend yield of 4.2%. Grand Parade, Paul.
Yes, so they own 25% interest in SunWest. SunWest in turn is the sort of one that has the license for Grand West Casino and plus Caledon and a few other things. And as far as I could discern, when you do a new casino, back in the day to get the license you had to have an empowerment partner. Makes sense. So Sun International partnered with Real Africa for some of their casinos and with Grand Parade for the rest. So it's a Western Cape-based trust with lots of empowerment communities and other things that own the shares in it. And it's distributed some quite nice dividends from the profits that it makes at Grand West, so that's done fine for it. They also own things like Table Bay, which I understand has got a low occupancy. Then the Cape Town International Convention Centre, which has been a success. So, you know, it's kind of up and down. The real question for me, which maybe Daniel can talk to, is that observation about the Western Cape license being sort of a bit up for grabs. What is the impact, you know, on these guys of that?
Go ahead.
So I mean, it's quite interesting if you look at their financial statements. You've got the revenue line, then you've got the profit line, and something doesn't tie up. That's because you've got the equity accounted investments in that income statement that account for a massive chunk. That's where the SunWest and in turn the Grand West profit sits. So they pretty much link to the same issues that Sun International is, that if another casino is set up in that Cape Metropole, it's going to affect their profitability that you won't see on the revenue line, but you'll see on that equity accounted line. And like I just said, that accounts for quite a bit of the profits. So that is at risk, according to how this licensing story unfolds.
So, Paul, when you look at growth prospects for this one, where do the growth prospects lie for Grand Parade?
Well, I'm not sure, because these are not managed stakes. They are an investor in big businesses that someone else runs. And that's why, as Daniel says, the economics of the company look a bit strange, because on a year-by-year basis they report on the underlying entities and pass through their stake in it and so on and so forth. The only thing I can point out is that as far as the shareholder base is concerned, quite a few people that had shares were subject to a lockup which is now expired, and people have been offloading them. Who's been buying them? It turns out it's Piet Viljoen's Cape-based asset management company regarding capital management, which seems to have accumulated like a 15% stake. So maybe he thinks something is going to happen here, or that there's sort of upside which is being missed or lost. I mean, I guess if you are going to get into this, you really need to get close to the Western Cape government and the national government and what their plans are with regard to that other Cape Metropole license. Because I think what Daniel is saying is if somebody gets a license to build an enormous casino in Durbanville, then half the people that currently go to Goodwood will go to Durbanville instead, in which case, you know, they could experience a severe drop-off in profitability.
So pressure could come through for them. Hot or not for this one?
So I'd say because it's exposed to one of the main risks that Sun International is also exposed to, I'd say not.
So not hot. Paul, hot
also
or not?
Too small for me and not liquid enough, so also not hot.
So two not hots on Grand Parade.